Today, I'm going to teach you if your new ad campaign or product is a winner for $100 or less. So starting off with how I like to personally test my products, I always will spend at least $100. One Benjamin Franklin is enough to understand if your product is a winner in my eyes. How I actually end up testing products is I'll go into TikTok, I have a conversion campaign, and I will have 5 ad groups, each spending $20 a day. So let me show you the settings in one of these ad groups so you can see exactly how to set it up. So as you saw, we had conversions on our campaign objective. Now you're gonna make sure to select website. I know they got apps now, which is great because your boy's dropping an app soon. I'll leave the link down below. But when we're scrolling down, we're gonna have our TikTok pixel. So make sure you select the one that is for your store. Now, once you do that, we're gonna do complete payment. It's all about making money. It's not about add to carts. We don't care about no god dang add to carts. We don't want to attract these window shoppers that are wasting your time and wasting your money. So when we scroll down, user comment, I do leave off. I know they're going to give you this little warning. If you're selling something that you know is going to get a lot of engagement, then sure, go for it. I've sold some party equipment that I know, for instance, it's going to work really well if I leave on user comment. Now, for locations, I know some people do United States and Canada. I prefer United States. I've seen better results there. People just tend to have more money. And in the United States, we're dumber. We're more impulsive. We like to make decisions on ads we just see instantly because we're like, damn, I got so much money, I'm just raking it in right now with crypto and everything going on. My NFT collection boomed. So yeah, I can throw $30 at whatever you're selling. Scrolling down for gender and age, I typically like to leave this broad. The only thing I'll change depending on the product is the age. I never will market to 13 to 17 because they just don't have disposable income. You know, these people are in high school. Yeah, it's just not great. So if your product is though specifically for a gender like male or female, definitely specify by that. Now, when I'm scrolling down, a lot of times when it comes to my interests, I will have one ad group that has no interest whatsoever, and I've seen that perform very, very well. Now, I also do still like to test interests. I know some people are just totally going away from that, but based on the product that I'm selling, I do like to do 2 interests. So one main interest right here, and then I like to add a behavior. So if I'm selling this standing weed plant remover right here, as you can see, you just simply pop, twist, and get rid of those intruders from your garden in instants. If I'm doing that, I will probably have something along appliances or household products. Let's see if there's anything for outdoors. So we got cleaning supplies, we got laundries, cleaning. I think this could definitely go under appliances or household products, home appliances. It's tough. It really is tough. I think in this instance, I would just go with household products. Now, when it comes to behaviors, we're not going to get an exact interest, but people that are interested in keeping their garden tidy, I'm sure are very interested in nature. So those would be the 2 interests I go with. Now scrolling down, daily budget, I always do 20 bucks. Now, if it's not spending, then you can definitely increase your bid. Now, when it comes to day parting, I leave this on all day, conversion, lowest cost. And then when it comes to setting up ads, I will always have around 2 to 3 ads that I make for every single product. So when you set that all up, you'll have your 5 ad groups, as you can see right here. One of them has no interest whatsoever, which is why it's no detail. And I'm editing my home appliances and lifestyle one. So the only difference is that we changed that behavior interest. So as you can see right here, everything is the same settings. Only difference is that we have the lifestyle. So that's what I would recommend for making those changes to the other ad groups. Now, if you have a little bit more money, what I would recommend doing is split testing a day party campaign versus an all day campaign. Now, when you're setting up the all day campaign, you're doing the same exact thing that I just taught you. So let's see that short-term memory recollection. Now, I know you're not a goldfish with a 7-second memory span, but if you need a little refresher, again, it's the same settings that I'm showing right here where we have our interests, you know, all again for ages. You want to make sure to exclude those goddamn teenagers. But when we scroll on down, again, same thing. Daily budget, it's going to be $20. Targeting expansion, you can leave that off. I wouldn't worry about devices. So the only way to know, hey, is this an all day versus day parted is right here when you're selecting a specific time. So you're just going to leave this on as all day, set up your campaign the same exact way. Now, if you're on more of a budget, you can do 3 ad groups instead of 5, each spending $20 a day. So a total of 60. Then you can set up your day parted campaign with the same 3 ad groups, $20 a day. So you have 2 campaigns that are each spending 60. So it's a total of 120 for testing your product. So that's exactly what I'm going to do for this product. So we know how to do all day. And then when it comes to selecting a specific time for our day parted campaigns, this is what I like to do. So we're going to scroll and drag this little slider. That's just so satisfying. 6 to 12 p.m. Now, we all know on those weekends, we like to be on our phone a little longer. You know, we might be staying out, we're at the club, we're a little tipsy, and we're like, you know what, man, I feel like buying something right now. I feel like a consumer. So on Saturdays, we're gonna actually drag this to 4:30. On Fridays, we're gonna go to 2:30. And for some of you Bible thumpers, I know you get to bed promptly at 10 p.m. so you can wake up at 6 for a hearty good morning of work. But for a lot of us, we're staying up, we're watching Netflix with our girlfriends till 2 or whatever you want to do. And yeah, that's pretty much the different windows. Now, before I get into the next point, I do want to credit Frankie Shaw. He is an amazing marketer who's done over 50 million in dropshipping sales, and he's basically the person who pioneered this. So that's the only real difference. Again, you're going to upload the same 2 to 3 creatives that you already have for your product. I don't really recommend doing more than that. Now, when it comes to, hey, do you want to run this ad group at midnight? Again, it's up to you what you want to do. I know right now I'm filming this video at 1:49 in the morning. God, the things I do for you guys on YouTube. But in my case, I would just upload it and make sure that it gets approved. In a lot of cases though, if you're making your ads in the afternoon, I would just have them set to publish at midnight. And then when you set up these 2 campaigns, this is what it's gonna look like. So you'll have your all day campaign. Make sure you name the campaign that so you don't forget. So you'll have your 3 different ad groups. Remember, every single one of them is gonna have the same exact details and you're gonna show the same 2 creative. Let's take a look at the first few seconds of this Weed Slayer ad. Boom, amazing ad. That's a winner right there. Now let's say hypothetically, you don't have $100. And I understand that. I used to run Instagram theme pages and I would sell shoutouts for $10. God dang, I've really come a long way. But if you're in those beginning stages, you don't have $100 and you want to cut that in half, you want to get a 50% off deal on this Benjamin Franklin, what I would recommend doing if you only have $50 is doing a CBO. So you do conversions, it's the same exact setup. The only thing is make sure you turn on campaign budget optimization. Now for daily, I recommend $50 if that's all you have. If you have 75, go for it. Even if you have 100, this can be another way to test products, but I personally like to do ABOs, so setting the budget with the audience. But if you are on a budget, this is totally cool as well. And when it comes to your ad groups, I would recommend 5 to 7 different ad groups, and at least half of those are no detail, because that will give you the best chance to reach the most amount of people. And again, the TikTok pixel is very smart and it knows how to find your ideal buyer. So if you're wondering what that looks like, just scrolling down here, you can see we have United States, all genders, the ages 18 to 55 plus. And then when we scroll down to interest, it's completely blank. It's a goddamn ghost town. So that's what you want to do. And then scrolling down, you can only do lowest cost. I would just recommend doing all day. Put in your ads, and then you're just going to duplicate that ad group a few times, and then have half of these ad groups have some interest inside, and then have half of them where there's literally no interest. So before we get into the next step, the 2 things you really want to take out of that is make sure you have at least 1 ad group that has no targeting whatsoever, so that TikTok can just let its pixel find that ideal customer, and always be testing at least 2 to 3 creatives. You have no excuse. I don't want to hear,
oh, it's so difficult to come up with a new hook.
Just literally, you can change the music, you can change the clips up, you can change the order in which the clips appear. You can make 2 ads. It's really not that difficult. Now, before we get into analyzing ads, if you have any questions at all about TikTok, I love talking to you guys all the time. So feel free to message me on Instagram if you got any questions at all. And now 24 hours has passed and your campaign has spent $100. So let's analyze these results. So getting into this real quick, if you don't have your columns set up like this and you want to see what it looks like, I have all my columns in a very particular order. So it goes by cost. Then the next step is people will see your ad. You'll have your CPM. What do people do after they see your ad? They click, then they add to cart, then they complete payments. So that's why I have it like that. Now, analyzing these ads real quick for this product, CPM is a little bit high, which usually indicates that my product is a little saturated or it's just a saturated niche. Now, when it comes to clicks, I do aim for a KPI of 60 cents or less. So if my ad is under there, I know my ad is performing very well. Now, the next step, CTR. I usually like this to be above 1.5%. That also is an indication of your ad success. So 2.3 across the board is really solid. Now, when it comes to add to carts, I like to have 5% of people that click my link out of 100 adding to cart. So if I get 100 people, I want 5. Now, in this case, we had 188 clicks, 5 add to carts. So that usually is an indication that my website, my offer, or my price is a little just off and I need to make some tweaks there. Now, looking at purchases, there was literally none. So in this instance, if I'm getting no sales on the first day, I'm completely killing the product and moving on. But obviously you're probably saying, duh, I mean, yeah, I didn't get any purchases. So Ethan, what happens if my product has a few purchases? What the hell do I actually do? Well, in this case right here with this campaign, if we go to the left real quick, I spent about $87, so TikTok nearly went through the whole budget after the first day. Now, when we're looking at the results here, CPC, it's not looking very pretty. The CPM is also not too great with this product, so I'm already fighting an uphill battle. Now, when it came to add to carts, 6 add to carts from 76 visitors, that's above 8% add to cart ratio. So that usually is an indication that, hey, my product's in demand, I have a pretty good offer going on. And from those 8 add to carts, 3 of those were purchases. So my total ROAS was 1.03. Now, obviously in this case, it's very important to know what the hell is my break-even ROAS, because all I know is I'm putting $1 in and I'm getting $1.03 back. Sounds like the S&P 500. But when we're actually calculating our break-even ROAS, what this means is, what are you selling your product for? So if I'm selling this amazing, one-of-a-kind Chelsea NFT wallet for $25, and let's say it cost me $5, what I would do is 25 minus 5, which is 20. Then I'll divide this by the original price that I'm selling it for, 25, and 25 divided by 20 is 1.25, which is my break-even, which means if my break-even ROAS, or if my ROAS on my campaign is lower than 1.25, I'm not profitable. So in the scenario where, yeah, I'm making more than my ad spend, but I'm still losing money, I would say let your ad spend at least one more day, because usually when something's break even or nearly profitable, it's usually good to get one more day of testing and just to see, hey, what happens next. So I let these ad groups run one more day, and as you can see right here, the numbers, I mean, they're pretty consistent. The add to cart ratio is really good, but the cost per click is not great. So maybe if I had a slightly different ad, this product could have worked better, who knows? But as you can see right here, our ROAS was a 0.76, but some of our ad groups were actually pretty consistently profitable. So in this scenario, even though, yes, we have an ad group that is profitable, when the campaign overall is definitely below my break even, I usually am just going to kill it and move on to the next product, because a winning product will definitely exceed your break-even ROAS, usually by 3 to 5x. Now, I actually filmed a video where I took a brand new client store from 0 to 1.3K a day, so you can actually see what the ad metrics were and how we're able to scale that store and what a winning product looks like on TikTok. Now, the most common scenario you'll see with a lot of products that are sort of on the fringe of making money is this right here as an example. So for around 2.5 days, I let these ad groups spend, and if we go to the right, we can see, yeah, cost per click's pretty good. Add to carts, yeah, not too shabby, 421 add to carts. I mean, that might be slightly under 5%. It's not bad though. And as you can see, we have a 1.6 ROAS. Now for this product in particular, a 1.2 ROAS was the break even. So we are profitable. But what do we do to make this more profitable? Now, the first thing I would recommend is increasing the daily budgets of your winning ad groups by around 20 to 30%. I've noticed when you do more than that, TikTok just tends to freak out. It doesn't know what to do with all this money. It just goes broke like a college student who won the lottery. So what you really want to do is baby your pixels. So in this instance, I'm spending $100 per ad group. So what I would do as a 20 to 30% increase is $130. Now, I'd recommend scheduling these budget changes at midnight so you can easily do it right here and then just put in the daily budget that you want to spend. So that's very simple. And again, how I'm identifying this is I'm going to the right, I'm seeing, hey, what am I super profitable in? So let me go into my columns real quick, see the ROAS, and when I scroll to the right after this all loads, you can see this 4.951. Yeah, I definitely want to put more money into that. Now, the next smartest thing you can do when you're scaling is find more profitable audiences, find more interest that you can test. So if you already know, hey, beauty and personal care seems to be working, or the secondary interest of beauty seems to work, what I can do is copy, make a few duplicates. I would recommend only doing about 2 new ad groups a day with 2 new interests, because usually when you do more than that, TikTok, again, it freaks out. It's not as sophisticated as Facebook, where you can do 50 different interests and ad groups in one campaign. When we scroll on down, again, you don't want to change the interest from this screen, but once you duplicate and you make some new ad groups, so let's say, for instance, that this ad group right here is the new duplicate. I understand it's not, have a little bit of an imagination, but what you're going to do, change the interest, find something else that's related to the ones that are already working, and then let those spend. Now, if you're really loco, SA, this is what you can do to really increase your ad spend. So when you have your winning audience, what I would recommend doing is duplicating it into a new campaign, but do not double the budget. Usually when you do something that drastic, again, it just doesn't work. It won't spend. TikTok just goes crazy. What I would recommend doing, you have your winning ad group that's spending $20 a day, $50 a day, or whatever. then duplicate it once into a new campaign with a 20 to 30% increase. That is way more likely to actually spend your budget and be effective. So in this case, where it's $100, what I would do is 120 or 130 with this new ad group that's being duplicated into a new campaign. So the reason why we usually have problems when we're straight up just doubling the budget is audiences interfering. TikTok just isn't great at having multiple of the same audience spend. I don't know why. I wish it was a little more sophisticated. It's still sort of working out those little kinks. It's in the toddler infancy phase. So again, you got to learn how to walk before you run. So I'm sure in a few years, it's going to be amazing. But when we scroll down here, the only thing that you're going to change, daily budget, increase it by 20 to 30%, save that, and you can do that with every single ad group that you have that is profitable.
All right, big boy, listen here. If you want to scale your campaigns through a CBO, one of the most effective ways of scaling, then what you will do is scroll on down, go to campaign budget optimization. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, for your budget, it's up to you. Now, if you are a 3-star Michelin chef like myself, I recommend a $250 budget. Now, if you're a little lower, maybe a little less classier, you work at Olive Garden. Olive Garden. You can do an $100 campaign. And what you're going to do is recreate your winning audiences into this campaign. Very delicate, very light, and that's all you have to do. The budget is up to you, and if it works at 100, try 250, try 500, and see how fast you can scale your ads.
Now, if you want to learn more scaling strategies, you can click the link right here for my full scaling video, but that is everything you need to know to tell if your product is a winner or not for $100 or less.